Hey guys, so let's talk about last night's episode of TVD, which was kind of crazy, but also kind of predictable, all at the same time. So from last week, we know that Stefan is finally out of the water. Yay! And of course he's gonna be hungry because he's been starving for 3 months. And I was really afraid, like I said last week, that they were gonna take him back to Stefan the Ripper. But I was pleasantly surprised when they did not do that. Thank you so much, TVD writers. So Stefan wakes up in a cabin. There's a strange woman there who gives him a blood bag. For a bit, we're trying to figure out who she is, but eventually we get that she wants to get back at Silas, and of course Stefan wants to do that. And then it comes out why she wants to get back at Silas, and we get that this is Ketsia. This is the witch that cursed Silas, that he was supposed to be in love with, but who he lied to so that he could gain immortality. The actress who plays her was amazing because you get that Ketsia is like on the edge of crazy. Like she's obsessed with getting back at Silas, and she's like a little bit off her rocker, and I kind of love that. The kind of interesting bit about this episode is that she might be crazy, but she really has a lot in common with Stefan. Like, they both really want to get back at Silas for what he's done to them. But then at the same end, she also has a lot in common with Damon, as we discover later in the episode. So let's talk about that, you guys. Let's talk about the doppelganger madness. So many of you guys kind of guessed where the storyline was going this season, and you were right. So give yourselves a pat on the back. So we know that Stefan is Silas's doppelganger. And as it turns out, the woman who Silas was really in love with, the one that he betrayed Ketsia for, she is where the Petrova doppelganger line comes from. So that's Catherine and Elena. By the end of the episode, you know, Damon finds Stefan in the cabin, but Ketsia wants to use him, right, to do a spell so that she can take away Silas's mental powers so that he won't be able to read people's minds. So while Stefan's kind of knocked out, Damon and Ketsia, or Tessa, as she tells everyone to call her. I thought that was hilarious. They have this conversation where she tells Damon, like, look, you don't have a chance. You do not stand a chance. Basically, these two doppelganger lines, they always find each other. They always fall in love. They're always drawn to each other. So basically, you can kind of give it up. And this is where the two of them have quite a lot in common. Because, of course, she was in love with Silas and was kind of trying to be the man in the middle. And the same is kind of true a little bit for Damon. You guys know that I am Stalena all the way, right? But I don't really know how I feel about this whole, like, destiny storyline. You know, like, they're destined to be together. I almost don't like it just because it makes it seem like they don't have a choice. You know, like they're just naturally drawn to each other and they just can't fight it. There was a moment, you know, when Elena finds the boys and she breaks into the cabin and Ketsia has like knocked Damon to the floor. But the first thing that Elena does is she goes to Stefan. And so it was kind of sad, you know, as you saw Damon kind of laying there on the floor looking up at her, realizing that Elena's first thought was to make sure that Stefan was okay. And at the end of the episode, she totally reassures him and tells him kind of like destiny schmestiny. You know, like, if I want to be with you, then that's what I'm gonna do. So, what else went on in this episode? Okay, let's talk about Matt for a second. So it turns out that Nadia and this other guy, the two travelers, it turns out that in the first episode, when we saw this guy, like, touch Matt's head and his eyes went black, it turns out that he entered Matt's body. And then at one point, Nadia has to kill her, like, traveler partner to be able to prove to Silas that she's really on his side. But his spirit is still alive in Matt. So he basically takes over Matt's body at one point and does stuff. And then Matt wakes up and doesn't realize what he's been doing all day. So that's going to be a bit of a problem for him. I'm sure we'll be exploring more of that throughout this season. One of the other big things we got in this episode is why Silas wants Catherine. The power of the cure still runs throughout her body. So Catherine might be human, but she's pretty valuable. And then you guys, let us talk about the ending because I need to know what you guys think. Please make sure. I'm so serious, you guys. Make sure that after you watch this video, you tell me what you thought about the ending down in the comment section below. Basically, you know, after Ketsia does the spell on Stefan, you know, his eyes are bleeding and it kind of knocks him out. When Elena shows up, they end up taking Stefan home. And, you know, you see this really sweet little touching scene with her sitting on the couch with him, putting his daylight ring back on his finger, and that was very touching. And then Stefan wakes up, basically sits up on the couch, stands up, and looks at Damon and Elena and is like, who are you people? So I guess whatever Ketsia did basically erased his memory. I don't know, you guys. The whole amnesia thing, I was seriously sitting on my couch just like, what? It just seems very like like 80s soap opera to me. Like, is this The Young and the Restless or is this The Vampire Diaries? I don't know, you guys. I guess we'll have to see. I will try to keep an open mind and kind of see where we're going with this, but it was just like, I don't know. It was just a lot. It was just a lot, you guys. This was a fantastic episode, very fast paced, lots of crazy stuff happening, which is how I love my TVD. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.